Hey there, and thanks for tuning in to Your Psychologist on Speed Dial, where I, Mary Beth Lavender, take your real life questions to licensed psychologists and my go-to when I need the real deal perspective, Dr. Dean Hinnitz. Together, we'll help you navigate through lingering anxiety, ruminating thoughts, and all the tender moments of being human, one conversation at a time. Dean,
Yes.
before we get into it, really, before I start asking questions, I think it'd be nice for us to just do like a little intro. Tell me about yourself.
Are we taping as we speak?
We are.
We are.
We're just rolling.
Let me think about this for a second, because it's the most asked question.
Yeah.
But however it is I am, or whoever it is I am, I've been like this since I was like 5.
That's amazing.
Somewhere around 5.5 years old, I realized my mom and dad were going to die, which never gets you a date in second grade, like ever. And it doesn't improve in middle school when you bring existential issues to the school dance.
So that's a lot for
So it was
small
going to be a
children.
while until I caught up to a podcast that wanted to know about anything.
Just short 20 years later, right?
Somewhere around high school, anxiety associated with whatever life insights became just so overwhelming. I had a lot of thoughts about a lot of things, and by that time, most of us have gotten some bumps and bruises in life, and I pursued with an intensity and a passion that would be unreasonable gymnastics, of all things.
Wow.
So that's another part of my career is high performance psychology, for anybody who has questions about that. I was amazing as a workout artist, and once I got in front of judges and people were holding up scorecards and evaluation, my performance was not commensurate to my training, and it opened up a whole nother sort of set of doorways into what affects human functioning, anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I specialize really on two ends of the continuum. I teach up at the University Psychology of Trauma at the University of Nevada at Reno here. And on the other end, I teach a course called Psychology of Activity, which the students renamed, pardon my language, win at anything you try to do and get shit done. So,
I love that.
in the midst of all that, I have a practice. And when you're in this field long enough, you see like a lot. But it's not just the seeing from a voyeur's position. The living of life takes a lot of twists and turns as well. And I think you want to see somebody who goes, that could be me given the circumstances. And I can guarantee you, for anyone who's calling in or submitting questions, part of me is going, yeah, me too.
Awesome. That's great. That's a great intro. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good job. Great. It's like you've done this before. A little bit about me. I have been an avid self-helper, as you know, for the majority of my life. I've read psychology books. I've worked with psychologists. I've worked with therapists. I'm in a journal therapy group now. I'm always trying to evolve, right? I'm always trying to grow, understand, connect with humans more. And oftentimes I am the friend that people come to and are asking me for advice. And I love giving them advice, but there are times where I'm like, I only can give from what I know and from what I've done and from what I've experienced, right? And I feel like there is a little bit of a ceiling from what I can, give. But I've just always been really inspired by psychology and the ability that we have on our own to really cultivate the life that we truly want. And I know that sounds like cliche and whatever, but the brain is a powerful organ. It's an organ, right?
Someone would call it an organ. I'll call it a tuner, a receiver.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's a powerful receiver. I like that. And, it can easily take over, but when you have certain tools and you have certain perspectives and you're able to work through some things, it's really incredible what you can achieve or overcome and all of that. So I wanted to bring these kind of conversations just together and get a really strong psychological perspective on it. And hopefully I can add a little value to it from things that I have experienced and from what I've done. We'll just see what happens.
Let's see what
Let's
happens.
see what happens. It's exciting. I love the unknown and I love change. I'm sure there are some people that don't like change and change is hard for them.
Some? Everything in nature gravitates to what's familiar to it.
Right.
And humans have an addiction to prediction and control that is beyond measure.
Totally.
And so, although every single thing we want that's beyond what we have now lies outside our comfort zone, like everything we want, to step out there is like taking a spacewalk. And often it feels like you're taking a spacewalk and there's no tether to the mothership.
Right.
And that's when it happens.
Yeah. An anonymous person writes, given the state of world events, climate change, and all the flux that is happening, what do you recommend for supporting anxiety? I'm not in the position to see a therapist right now, but I'm feeling overwhelmed with everything that is happening.
It's such a good question. You know, it used to be, people would say that the common cold of mental health is depression. But I don't think the common cold of mental health is depression. I think the common cold of mental health is anxiety. And I think it's universal, and people experience it with more or less amplitude in terms of sort of the vibration that rocks through them. We're opening with one of the most universal questions there are.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Anxiety, from my point of view, only has one cure. And people take chemical runs at it. You know, they'll vape or smoke weed or run to Xanax or whatever it is. And this isn't meant to sound like a judgment. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It won't provide relief. All effective remedies for anxiety involve some form of connection.
Okay.
And connection can be really threefold. We have this interpersonal connection where we go, I'm not alone in this place.
Right.
All of us feel a little safer in a dark basement if we're holding hands with somebody. Or,
right.
The movie of walking through at night, especially through a graveyard, you're like, well, I'm not alone, and I'm faster than that person.
Right, right.
But I'm not alone. That would be called interpersonal, relief, which is effective, still not permanent. We learn through a set of psychological processes to come into contact with ourself, what some people would call their core self, their true self, their soul, their inner being.
Yeah.
And we can come into an awareness, I have me. And the sense of connection to your core self is incredibly relieving and will be a source of not just relief, but passion, joy. The artist who connects with music, painting, person who can write or just be curious. I could go on and on. So that would be intrapersonal connection.
Right.
And then the last, we will call it transpersonal connection. So we've got interpersonal, intrapersonal. Transpersonal would be that which people will say something, whatever it is outside of me that made the stars, the moon, the oceans, the redwoods.
Yeah.
Whatever made that made me. And I connect to that in some way.
Okay.
And so for some people, that's God, the universe, sense of spirituality. Those are your sources of comfort. If you can hit 2 of the 3 of those, you're going to be doing pretty well.
Right.
If you have none of the 3 of those, your access to well-being will be very fleeting, oftentimes very stimulus bound, taking certain drugs or needing to rush to TikTok or whatever it is to draw energy, but it won't last. Okay, so that's part 1 of how I might answer that question. There'll be several parts.
That's fine. Yeah, that's great. Break it down.
Einstein, he's got several things that he said that were pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's one of the most quotables, right?
Yeah.
He echoed something that child psychologists have reflected on. A psychologist named Erik Erikson talked about first stage in life. What's the task of an infant in terms of developing a framework for life? But I like Einstein's language better than Erikson's. And Einstein said, the fundamental decision that a person makes is whether or not the universe is friendly or hostile. And in that will be a sense of things turn out for me. Everything is trending towards some positive resolution somehow, even if we can't see it right this moment. Or the universe is hostile, not to be trusted. And if we don't control and manage, everything's going to go to hell.
Yeah.
And particularly, for me too.
Yeah.
The shift to a sense of certainty that things are going to work. Without it, you can't have a sense of well-being. You always, so now we've got connection and we have certainty.
So in short, when this anxiety starts to overcome this person, they should, one, take a deep breath.
Yes, because I'm interrupting you.
No, that's okay.
The deep breath is kind of, it seems like a cliche, but if we allow our reactivity to run wild and just pick up speed, it will pick up speed, and we have to pause reactivity. Our growth and our shifting of our self-state requires a pause of reactivity. And so that breath to go, wait, let me not run this out. Where else can I shift my focus? How else can I find positive sense of well-being or connection? It's vital.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I was going to say, right, first, when the anxiety starts to bubble up, stop, take a couple deep breaths, trying to change your perspective, trying to find some positive aspects that are happening throughout your week, throughout your life.
If a dozen times a day you ask yourself the question, how appreciative am I of this moment in time? You will have a different experience of the quality of your life. I can pretty much promise.
Yeah. So we stop and breathe. We appreciate, just pure appreciation of in the moment, being surrounded by beautiful trees or flowers or whatever brings that spark of joy and excitement into your heart, into your soul, right?
It can be brief.
And breathe.
But it must have sincerity. It can't be like platitudes.
Yeah.
I can call it in this time, in real time right now, privileged time with you, and everything that's happening in real time right now. All I have to do is go, are you getting it? And I'm like, yeah, you get to be here.
Right.
And then you get this little dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Now, what happens if you have like hundreds of those a day?
Right.
It doesn't mean that the world affairs go away, but they get to diminish for you a bit. And you can act from a different place, a much more powerful place around it.
Yeah.
Being effective in making whatever changes need to happen.
Yeah. So then maybe sitting down and asking yourself, like, what brings me joy when my anxiety starts to rise? What can I do that brings me joy to like take me out of that anxiety, right? To bring me back to this like present moment. This is something that I do, and I don't know if this would be something that would be helpful for other people, but when I have moments of anxiety, I have created this little game that I like to play because I like to play games all the time. And I've written out 6 different things that bring me joy: dancing, watercolor painting, going for a walk outside, riding my bike, meditating, and there's a 6th one. I think that was only 5, but there's a 6th one. I can't remember the 6th one.
I thought it was sitting with me. Was that not it?
Oh, it is. The 6th one is sitting with me.
I was waiting for it.
Thank you. Yeah. So I number them 1 through 6, and I have a die, and I roll the die, and whatever the die lands on, that's what I do.
1, a lot of people don't know that the singular of dice is die, so you cleared that up. Side benefit of the show.
That's it. Yes.
2, there's a tremendous amount of research that would support your activity. Some people from a behavioral school of thought have said to list what's called a pleasant events schedule.
Oh, okay.
And as many places that you can sort of plug into life. So you have solid empirical backing to your strategy.
Sweet.
The task, which is even bigger, is to say, can I get into a state that I can find energy, stimulation, something colorful that I bring to events, so I don't have to have events sort of plug me in. Your idea is a great one.
Sure.
And it has strong research backing, and people need to remember to activate, like just get moving.
Yeah.
Like just get, no matter what, just get moving.
Totally.
It's sort of on me to find the depth, the texture, the color, the technicolor of situations, so that the richness of experience will be my responsibility and part of a sense of that connection with self and that connection with what's outside of me.
Yeah.
I can be almost anywhere.
Right.
I can have a pretty good time at a grocery store. I know it sounds odd.
Oh, no, don't worry. When I was growing up, my friend's dad used to always say that he could put me in a phone booth and I'd have the best time
Yeah.
of my life. And so I can relate to that. Like, I look for the joy, right? I'm always like, I have like a little bird bath outside in the back. And like when a little bird sits there, I get really excited. I'm just like I find little small moments that really excite me. That might not excite you. You might not care to see a bird taking a bath, but it's one of the cutest things.
As long as there's consent.
Right. They know I'm watching. They understand.
Right.
They're like, you fill the water up, I'll come and take a bath. Yes. Yeah. But that doesn't come as easy for everyone, right?
The answer is yes, but think about it like this. Most people will attend to their grooming 100-fold or 1,000-fold more than they'll attend to their consciousness. We get good at whatever we put energy into.
Yeah.
And some of what we're talking about might feel like it's pie in the sky.
Right.
But it's not. One of the purposes of life has to be pursuit of joy.
Yeah.
And depth and texture of experience, which is if you used to think a Chips Ahoy cookie was the bomb, and I did, it's learning more and more and more to taste ingredients in finer cookies, to see more color in those birds, to have more presence when you're with somebody. All of these are anxiety busting because they involve connection with the experience of life. And the separation of life recedes.
So in summary, for this person that's written this question, if you had to give them like in summary, quick little nibble of what to do with their anxiety, what would you say to them?
The kind of anxiety that our listener posed with a question around remedy, hey, I have to say, I've only gotten those kinds of questions from highly, highly intelligent people who have an awareness beyond themselves that there's a lot going on, and their minds can go to places that can be really unpleasant. But that same superpower that says, I have a sensitivity, awareness, and intelligence leads to the other superpower called choice. And of all the superpowers, that's one of the top 3. And I can choose to focus my awareness, I can choose to focus my consciousness, and I can dig into other aspects of life that are far more rewarding. Not sticking my head in the sand, but not staring at stains in the sand on this, huge beach that we're walking on.
We want you to get better. We want to help you get better. We're here for you. We hope that answered your question, or at least gave you something to sit with. And if anyone listening has something on their heart or on their mind and they want to submit a question, you can find the link in our show notes. And know that we're here for you, and we're sending lots of love your way. Until next time, take good care.